is risen. He is risen indeed. Greetings on this Easter Sunday. We've been walking with Jesus through Holy Week. We've been walking through Palm Sunday, his passion, his death on the cross, and then the resurrection, a day that changed everything. There's a story that's told of a girl who was in a Sunday school class, and the Sunday school teacher was asking questions, and the Sunday school teacher, what do you think Jesus' first words were when he came out from the empty tomb? And the little girl raised her hand and she said, "Ta-da!" In other words, it was an amazing thing. None of the disciples thought, hey, we got the Romans exactly where we want them. They were living in despair. And this day, when Jesus rose from the dead, changed everything in history. Changed the way we date time, our calendars, everything. I want to look at Jesus' first words from Matthew's Gospel. Very interesting and kind of understated. Matthew chapter 28. It says, "So the women hurried away from the empty tomb, afraid yet filled with joy, and they ran to tell the disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them. 'Greetings,' he said. They came to him, clasped his feet, and worshipped him." It's kind of understated, right? Greetings. What a first word coming out of the tomb. And these women who were living in despair clasped him and worshipped him with joy. It's interesting to note, a lot of scholars have throughout the years have identified what are some of the primary reasons for believing that the resurrection happened, because Jesus is the only religious leader who ever came back from the dead. And some point to the empty tomb, some point to the undisturbed grave clothes, some point to the 515 witnesses that Jesus appeared to in those 40 days. But probably one of the primary ones is simply the changed lives of the disciples. They went from hiding and living in despair to living in joy and power. In fact, in a classic, Basic Christianity by John Stott, he writes this: "It was the resurrection which transformed Peter's fear into courage and James' doubt into faith. It was the resurrection which changed the Sabbath into Sunday and the Jewish remnant into the Christian church. It was the resurrection which changed Saul the Pharisee into Paul the Apostle, the fanatical persecutor into a preacher of the very faith he previously tried to destroy. Last of all," Paul wrote, "he appeared also to me." These are the evidences of the resurrection. The body had disappeared, the grave clothes remained undisturbed, the Lord was seen, and the disciples were changed. There is no adequate explanation of these phenomena other than the great Christian affirmation: the Lord is risen indeed. The disciples' lives were changed, and even on this Easter Sunday, our lives can be changed. There's a story, a popular story of a woman who found out that she had a terminal disease, and she only had about 3 months to live. She called her pastor, and the pastor came over, and they went over and began to plan the service and began to plan her last wishes. She picked the songs that she wanted sung, the scriptures she wanted read, even the clothes that she wanted to wear, and she wanted to be buried with her Bible. And she had one final request, and the request was simply, "I want to have a fork in my right hand." And the pastor kind of looked at her with a quizzical look. "Why that?" And she said, "Well, I attended so many different church functions where there was a potluck, and I always remember at the end of the potluck, they would say, 'Keep your fork, the best is yet to come.' And there were all kinds of great desserts and whatnot. So when you have the open casket at my funeral, and they see the Bible on my chest, and they see the fork in my right hand, and they ask why that is there, tell them that my message to them is to keep your fork, for the best is yet to come." This woman's life was changed by Jesus, and our lives can be changed too. We know the best is yet to come. We live in the here and now. But our lives, this resurrection power, which literally rose Jesus from the grave, as Romans chapter 8 tells us, lives within us, and we can have his power for living. So on this day, celebrate his resurrection from the dead, his power to give you life and strength for the challenges that you're facing. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. God bless you.